Hey everybody, my name is Yvonne Villarreal and I'm a reporter here at the Los Angeles Times. And today's Talking TV is basically going to be a counseling session because, and I don't know how much of it will be for you and how much will be for me, but we're here joined today by Parenthood's Erika Christensen and Sam Jaeger, who play Joel and Julia on the Thursday drama on NBC. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So, I mean, can we just start with like, what are the fan reactions that you guys have been getting lately?
Suicide threats.
Suicide threats?
Suicide threats.
Yeah.
Oh.
We should have like a team of suicide watch people out there for our fans.
I'm just glad it's not death threats.
No.
I thought it would be.
No, they're taking it
They're
upon
taking
themselves.
it on themselves. That's whew.
That caught you really off guard. It caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been a lot. What I appreciate even more than the tears, because there have been a lot of tears, but that's like a normal Parenthood show reaction. Right. There's been really violent anger, which I think is really wonderful.
Yeah. And season 5 of Parenthood, the anger was directed at my character, Joel, and this year it's directed more at you. And my theory is it's this. My theory is it's the same people.
They're just the.
There's like 10 people. They've got 50 Twitter accounts, and they just go crazy hating. You know.
Yeah.
But we'll take it.
And does it feel amplified because there's this Twitter component where you see it all the time?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's interesting. It's like this open channel for communication that comes straight at you. So there's Twitter, the hate, and
but
it's a lot.
It's all part of the love. I mean, nobody's saying we hate your show.
They care, which is what counts.
Yeah.
And they're invested in the storyline, as are we. I mean, we feel pretty much as passionate as they do, even if it's not always with the expletives. And
Sometimes. Though.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the expletives.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering that too. Like, do you feel like there's any person that gets a lot of the heat that shouldn't? Like, do you feel like, hey, she has her reasons, or do you feel like, hey, back off a little bit here?
I think, personally, that they both deserve all the heat that they've taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're both in the wrong, which is kind of the point. When I see Team Joel or Team Julia, that's when I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Ultimately, everybody's Team Joelia, probably. Not that there haven't been advocates for Ed and for Chris, but they're in the minority. It's really, but I just want the two of them to get it together.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, we're discussing a fractured marriage, and I think one of the reasons it hits a chord for people is that when there is a fractured marriage in real life, often friends are torn between, and it becomes really uncomfortable, and you're not sure who to invite to parties, and it should be messy. Nobody's I think guilt-free in this instance, but I think our show and life is about, my favorite quote is, life is an adventure in forgiveness. And I think, that's one of the storylines of this season.
That's great.
Yeah. I'll just pretend I came up with it.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite Sam Jaeger quotes.
Thank you.
And I feel
Emily Bronte. Okay, good. Good to know.
Can you tweet that?
Right. Can we do that? I feel like I should give a warning that we have construction going on back here. We're erecting new desks, so we apologize for that.
It's Joel's team.
It's cool. You're seeing a sneak
brought
preview.
them from Parenthood.
Sure.
I know.
How dare you?
Yeah, I had to dress up.
How dare you? Well, I wanted to read just some reactions that we saw on Twitter, and they weren't like, because, we asked for questions, and some just gave us comments. This was Skylar Martin saying, if Joel and Julia can't make it, then love is a lie, and there's no point in even trying.
That's subtle. Yeah.
Just FYI.
Well.
And then there's Heather Meyer, who said, who does Julia think she is getting mad at Joel for taking his time getting over it? She cheated on him.
Oh, I read that one. Okay, I mean, I could get defensive about that
Uh-huh.
on Julia's behalf because we've come to really grasp this. You know, we go back and forth between being Joel and Julia and then being able to step back and look at it from the exterior viewpoint and be
Right.
objective about it. So we get to really, really examine this thing. And I think it's come down to the fact that like Julia stayed in the fight and Joel gave up. Like, that's not what a marriage is. A marriage is you stay in the fight until you get through it to the other side. That's what.
Yeah. And then the other part of that conversation is, is it staying in the fight if you cross a certain line? Where is the line for
Certainly.
people? Where is the line for a relationship? And I think it's funny because I had the hardest time last year dealing with our storyline because I was so protective. I was actually protective starting off that people would turn against Julia last season. That I think I wanted to. I think we kind of chose to make the argument, the battle between them, as palpable as possible. And I had no idea that people would be so angry at Joel for leaving. And now that I'm through it, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty unlike Joel to do, you know, and certainly not healthy for the marriage and not healthy for the kids. And so in that instance, I really side with Team Julia fans.
If you had to.
If I had to. Yeah.
Well, and Jason and the writing staff does something great where like they give you hints or bits and pieces as to why they react the way they react. Like there was an argument where I think you said that you mentioned like how your father cheated on your mom, and so you have some viewpoint as to why he may be really harsh in his reaction to what was like an iffy flirtation kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not to say that people don't do unfounded, illogical things in life and then have to come back from it and realize that didn't make much sense and I did do it.
Yes.
Right. I also think that this was a young couple. You know, they fell in love. It was probably the first really deep love that they'd felt. And now they're in their first real test. Yeah. And they have no parameters. They don't know what feels right and what's wrong. This is all new for them, and that gets messy.
They have been through so much, but they've always been on one side of whatever it is. They've pretty much been able to be a united front against the world, and so so having to test out this new thing and learn how it works, and it's been rough, but I think that they are learning from it. I think that there's hope for them yet. This is
Don't give me that.
I know you have a clip, and so I'm trying.
Yes,
Like,
we'll see the clip soon. It's a good one.
It is.
How about what was the discussion like with Jason? I would imagine that for the actor side of you like the tension, you like the drama because it gives you something fun to play. But what were you thinking when he told you this is where you guys were headed? And did you expect it to last this long? Had he given you an indication of how long there would be discord?
That's a good question because no.
Right.
When we found out last season that there was going to be that they were going to start to have some troubles, and then there was going to be the Ed character and the Pete character. I thought like, oh, fun, like, oh, some drama. But I definitely didn't know that it would be as rough as it was. And then I also, because Jason tends to do like a real-time jump ahead in between seasons of 6 months or whatever it is, I thought for sure Joel and Julia must have worked it out, or almost worked it all out or something in the hiatus.
Yeah, we thought, I had talked to Jason before last season to say that that I nor any living man can live up to the expectations we've set for, based on Joel.
Yes.
you
He
know?
was
He
the
was
perfect.
the
Right,
perfect.
right.
I'm still striving for that. So
Yeah.
I believe
don't tell
in
me
it.
it's not possible.
I've given up. I just
Listen,
Just like, you know.
listen.
I believe in
I'm
it.
done.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you. There's hope. But so I said, I'm ready for anything. Let's see how far we can go with this. And but I had no idea about that this season. I just assumed at the end of the last season that that we'd be working it out under the same roof. And
Well, I was worried because you weren't at the dinner
Yeah.
thing that they had, and I was like, "What does this mean?"
yeah, my mom was really worried about that too.
Yeah, she was, wasn't
Yeah.
she?
Last year,
Very
both my
concerned.
mom said something about that, and then my dad in the middle of last season said, "Boy, it really sounds like they're trying to write you off the show." I was like,
Amazing.
I'm going to say it's not your best parenting moment. This is probably a low point for you, Dad. I'm going to
That's
pretend that
awesome.
didn't happen
That's
and
awesome.
go back to my job, which I theoretically still
Uh-huh.
have.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, so getting back into this season, it's kind
Yeah.
of exciting for us that we don't really know the path.
Right.
When I first spoke to Jason at the beginning of this season, or right before we got the first script for this season, he told me that Julia was seeing someone, and I was on the phone like, "What? Oh my God, no! Who is what?" And and then you got the script, and it starts out in a pretty dramatic way of revealing that she's not seeing her husband. So yeah, it was really interesting. Like, I am very good at not giving spoilers away, and so I had to live with that for a while.
Yeah.
But
And it's hard because it's not like the guy's like bad looking. Chris is like,
I mean,
it's.
yeah.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do?
How
we're
about
gonna fight harder.
yes.
Believe me, I
Marriage.
heard from the whole crew, which is predominantly male, how handsome this guy was and how great he looks with his shirt off.
Yeah, that he had his washboard abs.
Yeah.
He had to hear about it. He arrives, hey, back at work. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, it
guys."
went on for 2 months. They were like, "Oh man, Kobe," and I thought they were spilling news about like, did Kobe leave the Lakers or something? But no, the actor Kobe was on set again today. I don't know if they really want us to brawl or something.
They
in
wanted
real
you
life,
to
but
feel the same jealousy.
well, it worked.
Yeah,
Trying
it
to help
worked.
you
It worked.
get method with it.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
talked to this guy, not since day one. I can't
Have
even
you?
look at him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I don't think I have. We've had a
I
couple.
thought maybe the scheduling might have worked out that
Yeah.
way. You haven't.
No, I talked with him. He's
that
a
was
great
nice of
guy.
you.
It's terrible.
How about would you like? I know people like to say they don't have regrets, but do you have regrets for your character? Like, do you wish they handled like or made a certain decision differently? Like looking back, like, do you wish you didn't have dinner with the boss lady, or do you wish you hadn't have gone to Ed's house and all this stuff? Like,
That's so interesting. I mean, on one hand, yeah, those things were mistakes. Those things caused more harm to the relationship than good. And so it would have been good if those things didn't happen. At the same time, it makes for good television.
Yeah, at the same time, nobody wants us to watch us play bocce ball for 4 seasons.
I do. No, I'm
Okay,
kidding.
but by
No.
season 3, you're like, yeah, no, I don't have any. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if Joel should have left his family, but
Well, Joel shouldn't have left his family.
Right. right. But
But as far as watching a television show.
Yeah.
but it makes for I have friends who are avid watchers of the show, and it creates a great conversation about what the boundaries are in a relationship, and to hear them talk about Joel and Julia as though they were just another couple within our group of friends. It just means that the writing staff, that Jason and hopefully what we're doing is hitting, is really landing with people.
Well, we're going to get to some fan questions in a bit, but I want to sort of continue on with this relationship roller coaster. And we're going to catch a clip of an episode that will air November 7th, I believe. November 6th. And so it's not this week's, but next week. So you got extra cool exclusive here. And we'll watch a clip, and then maybe you guys can sort of talk a little bit about what we're seeing, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey.
Hi.
You have a second?
Yeah, come on in.
Okay.
Pretty nice, huh? I was waiting, to figure out, what we were gonna do. So I could probably do some furniture shopping.
Joel, the house.
Yes.
Yesterday was emotional, so I just wanted a chance to change your mind.
Well, you don't have to do that.
Joel, we bought the house together.
Yeah.
The smart thing to do is just take the emotion out of it and split the asset.
It's not an asset, though, Julia.
It's an
a
asset.
home.
In a divorce, everything is an
I refuse
asset.
to talk about it
We
like
should
that.
just be reasonable.
We brought our baby
Let's-
girl home to that house, Julia. It's the first safe place our son ever spent the night. I mean, heck, first night we owned it, we didn't have furniture, even electricity, but we just laid on that floor and we talked about the future and argued about what color we were going to paint the walls. It's not an asset. It's a home. And it kills me to walk away from it, but I hurt you. I hurt you, and I own that. I get that. So I don't want the house. Can't have you in it. I don't want it.
So they're talking about, is the house a home or is it an asset? So I think it's safe to assume that we're going to be hearing the D word coming up. And without revealing too much, because I don't like spoilers that much, but talk a little bit about what we're seeing here. What's going on?
Well, yeah, the D word is on the table now, and the biggest issue, and that, I mean, besides the kids.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Kids are predominantly play a large role in parenthood.
Besides the kids, the biggest deal is the house, and they have such different viewpoints about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. Julia's being typically Julia and trying to just be logical and
legal.
and
Which I
legal.
love.
Yep. And Joel cuts right through to the heart of the matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Beautiful.
that's the first episode where we really see that there's a real communication between the two of them about how much Joel wants back in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. But he says if I can't have you in it, I don't want it.
yeah.
That's pretty clear.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think she'll be receptive to that?
I think that it really throws her because her whole mission in recovering since the end of last season was kind of finding her stable footing as her own person, and then of course she does start seeing someone, and so she really had essentially this momentum moving in a certain direction, and she thought she was starting to figure things out for herself, and so it's really unsettling to have to start tearing down what you were just building up and reconsider and maybe change direction and stuff. So it's impossible to deny that they have a really strong connection, and that's what just has to be explored. Is that connection going to win out, or is Julia's new life and her attempt to make herself okay in her new life? And I guess it's not like a spoiler to say she wants to know that if they're going to be together, he has to never leave the fight again. You can't. You have to trust someone to be in a marriage if you're going to be married to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got real.
It
got real. Well, and I also think that the heart of this season is about these people have undergone some really harmful things in their relationship and who we are after those struggles. You know, you're never the same. And how do you rebuild a relationship, you know, knowing that you're totally different people?
Well, do you think you could get over like the fact that she was with Chris for a period of time?
Right. I mean, I guess that's the other
Yeah.
storyline is like, well, I don't know if we deal with it, but can Joel trust Julia after all that?
Also, just the hurt of knowing that she's dating her college boyfriend.
Dating this guy that everybody in my crew says has rock hard abs. I mean, that's not something easily palatable, I don't think.
And then you're like, I love the scene with the pizza where you're just like so upset after seeing him. So good, that scene. We're going to take some questions from some of the fans here. We've got, I think it's T-Run, Mr. T-Run.
Cool.
In what way do you think your characters or you have grown over the course of the series?
That's really cool. I'll start by saying I think that's one of the most interesting things about doing a series for such a long period of time is that there's like this parallel universe of you are going through your own growth and the characters going through their own growth. And I mean, Sam has had 2 babies since we started the show.
Not me personally, but my wife. Make that
Sam's
clear.
wife, who deserves the credit for having done so,
At least 50.
has had 2 babies. Julia's, I want to say Julia's learned a lot about compromise, but then I don't know that she has. I don't know.
I think we're learning the biggest lessons this season. I really do. But but our lives have changed in pretty dramatic ways. I love that, this isn't The Simpsons. That Parenthood is about watching people evolve and mature and raise kids that are older with more problems and more complexities. That's exciting to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of children, Sidney gets a lot of hate on Twitter. I'm sure Savannah's a wonderful girl, but what do you think of the reaction that people have toward little Sidney? It's intense. Do you see it?
It's funny. I've seen a little bit of it.
I mean, I think we kind of instilled early on that Sidney was some aspect of Julia magnified.
She's selfish.
But she's also, I mean, she has legitimate concern, now.
Yeah.
I mean, her life has been turned upside down, and anybody who's a child of divorce knows what that's like. And
having a new sibling all of a sudden that's your age is a completely different dynamic. And
the truth is we coddled her. We really coddled her. Remember, I bought her that little Power Wheels Ferrari. I think
she didn't deserve that.
I think that did it. The straw that broke the camel's back.
The great thing is that Savannah loves.
She loves.
She calls Sidney a brat.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So that's
there's
cool.
self-awareness.
She gets to do what we all do, which is be somebody else and then go back to being ourselves.
I think Savannah can take the criticism a lot better than we can. That's for sure.
Well, and you mentioned like how Jason likes doing the time jumps and stuff, and we have a question about how do you think Julia and Chris broke up the first time they were dating? Did Jason give you any sort of?
Well, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, no.
There was a scene with Chris and Julia where he says it only took you 5 days to decide that you were too focused on school. And I think that's probably legitimately what happened. It wasn't that they had a fight or any kind of falling out or anything. It's just that Julia at that time was so driven and just wanted to be the best student and wanted to be wanted to really focus on her education. And I think that I don't know, I can see that being a young person, you're more able to do that. Like, not that you would actually articulate the viewpoint, but it's kind of the viewpoint that like there will be other guys, you're hot and we get along great and whatever, but like I have stuff to do.
Right.
And so I'm 20 or, leave me alone.
I wouldn't know. I don't watch any scenes with Chris. Turn off the television.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That was true.
It was true.
Yeah,
We
I
ha-
think that
we
makes
have
sense to me.
a question from Hannah who wants to know, what was your favorite scene to shoot in the past seasons? That's like a tall order to answer. Yeah.
Ever?
Maybe this season.
Oh,
Let's narrow it down.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, our joke is that last year we didn't get to smile at each other at all. Last season was
Yeah.
the least fun we've had, and
literally
so
crying every day.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Screaming, yelling, fighting, crying.
So I don't know. I've really enjoyed this season because it's our last. I don't have any particular scenes that
Mhm.
that stand out, but I just love working with her,
Mhm.
and so that's kind of, you know, every day we get to come in, we have the same kind of work ethic and
Yeah, that's really
and,
a
Mhm.
good thing.
and respect, and it's just a joy, you know.
It really, it's so enjoyable. It's really different. We have two really different experiences.
Mhm.
One is us working together. That's the majority of our experience.
Mhm.
And then there's working with the Bravermans.
Right.
And those are like parties.
Mhm.
It's kind of chaotic, but it's fun. And there's so many personalities, and you get to catch up with people, and I really enjoy those as well. I remember season 2, the Thanksgiving episode was really fun because we got to hang out at the
Right.
big table and eat together and play football, and
Mhm.
it's family stuff, real life family stuff. But definitely, whenever Joel and Julia have gotten along, which is up until season 4.5. I
Yeah.
mean, they even had some rough spots before
Yeah.
season 5,
Yeah.
but those have been the most fun.
Well, I actually thought like during the whole Zeke crisis, that maybe that would bring you guys together. Like just there was like a scene where you're just looking at Zeke and Camille, and I thought maybe it's gonna click for her, and then we see Chris somewhere. So I was just like, maybe it's
No,
not
but
gonna
I think you're right. It's in layers.
Mhm.
Things happen in in waves and stuff.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Joel really being there and being interested and feeling like he's part of the family and going to visit Zeke on his own.
Yeah. I wasn't sure that this season was gonna work with us being separated,
Mhm.
and I'm so glad that they wrote it that way, because I think there's really something to, after all of the arguments are over, what is this stale relationship? I mean, how do these people fit with each other? And that's been fun to explore. And for some reason, I feel like I've enjoyed this season more than I have any of the ones before it, just because we're dialed in, and I feel like it's fun to see. It's fun to explore with the fans how this ends.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some. Joel and Julia have to really put everything that's happened aside and look at what is here and now
Mhm.
between us. Like, who are we now? What do we want now?
Yeah.
It's a completely, they have to look at it fresh to decide how to move forward with their lives.
And that can be scary sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a question from Rebecca wanting to know, what do you want to see happen with Joelia?
I'm Team Joelia.
Yeah, me too.
Good.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
put, I mean, sure, they put more years than us, Joel and Julia, but we put 6 years into this. I
You have
mean,
a stake
come
in
on,
it.
man.
Yeah, we do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't
Not-
want the house if it's.
Not to throw Sam under the bus, but we have cried completely off screen.
Yeah.
Really?
About- Yeah, just in talking about, it was last season when
They were
things-
man tears. They're larger
big
scientifically than women
Man.
tears,
tears.
but they were man tears.
Yeah, we're really invested in the relationship.
Yeah.
Mhm. What episode are you guys shooting right now?
10.
10.
Wow.
Right, we'll
And-
start 10 on Thursday.
Yeah. And it's
Just down the wire.
down to the wire.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what's happening. I don't know what the last 3 episodes are.
I don't either.
But I'm
Actually, I heard some
You did?
scuttlebutt.
Uh-oh.
I did. We've both taken to not reading the scripts except for our own scenes, so we
Mhm.
don't know what's happening with anybody else's storyline, but I did hear some rumors about how things are going down with other
Yeah.
characters.
We like to
Oh,
watch
okay,
it
okay.
with the fans. Like
Yeah.
it's new to us what happens with all the storylines.
Mhm.
So
Pretty cool.
yeah, it's exciting.
I was telling Jason, but you guys don't have, Camille and Zeke don't have the house anymore. But I was like, there has to be like a final dinner, even if it's not on the show, but like a final dinner for you guys on
Yeah.
that big table with the twinkly lights. That's like my dream.
Yeah.
I want a twinkly light
With
set.
the
You can
Bravermans.
have one.
Yeah.
I can't.
Go to
Can't
Lowe's.
afford it. Go to Lowe's.
Is it Lowe's or is it?
Is it Lowe's?
I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's
Yeah.
Lowe's.
I think
Yeah,
that's what
$12 can be yours. One string of lights, you're done.
Do you think
The
you're gonna?
Bravermans cost a little more.
I was gonna say, yeah.
They don't come with the twinkly lights.
No.
Do you think when you finally have your hands on that final script, what do you think is going to go through your? What are your emotions going to be?
I guess we've been saying that it will definitely be sad, but I think it'll be increasingly sad in the fall months as it really sinks in. Probably when we watch the finale of the show on TV.
Right. Yeah.
Where are we gonna? What we have to get together? What are we gonna do?
Yeah. What am I gonna wear?
What are you gonna wear to that? I mean, you're gonna wear black.
Probably.
You guys gonna match again?
Yeah.
We'll wear
Yes.
black.
We actually dressed as NBC pages today. I couldn't find but she really nailed it. You nailed it.
Thanks.
Well, how about
NBC page
what
1998.
what parting words do you want to leave the fans as we end this chat? What do you want?
Thank you.
And lay off. Come on.
That pretty much sums it up. Thank you so much and lay off.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the truth is we wouldn't be here. I
Yeah.
mean, we just wouldn't be sitting here talking. You know, the last 3 years are only because of the core group who sits down and watches at whatever time they can, because the bulk of them are probably parents and,
Yeah.
you know.
So
and-
they're T-boning it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yes.
Yeah. But we've been a bubble show for so long, and now we get to kind of ride off into the sunset knowing it's our last. That's really, really rare for TV.
I know it's so special to have gone into the whole last season knowing it is the last season, and being able to appreciate it every step of the way, and knowing that Jason and the writers are all approaching it from that viewpoint. It's been great.
Yeah.
Get these ready.
Yeah, be ready.
All right, guys. Parenthood airs on NBC Thursdays. Thanks so much for joining us.